Welcome to my channel. It started as a silly idea, one I thought would be fun, maybe even empowering. A simple experiment: dress up, put on makeup, wear heels, and see what it felt like to be fully girly in public. I imagined it would be cute, a little thrilling, nothing more. But reality had other plans. The moment I stepped outside, the world seemed sharper, louder, and more chaotic. The dress I had carefully chosen swirled around my legs, delicate fabric catching the wind, making me feel exposed in ways I hadn't anticipated. My heels clicked against the pavement with every step, a constant reminder that I was no longer blending in. Just breathe. It's just people, I muttered to myself, trying to steady my racing heart. But the stares began immediately. People's eyes lingered, some curious, some judgmental, others openly amused. I felt a flush creep up my neck as I realized that every movement, every glance, every step was being observed, dissected, and silently critiqued. The chaos escalated when a group of teenagers passed by, whispering and pointing. I froze, unsure whether to confront, ignore, or run. My voice caught when I tried to speak, and my carefully applied makeup felt like it was melting under the weight of embarrassment. Every instinct screamed to retreat, but the thrill of this experiment kept me rooted in place. Even small tasks became monumental challenges. Crossing the street, ordering coffee, or simply adjusting my hair in the reflection of a shop window felt like performing on a stage. The world had turned into an audience, and I was both actor and spectacle, heart pounding with a mixture of excitement, fear, and mortification. Yet, amid the chaos, there was something intoxicating, an awareness of my presence, a rush of visibility, and a strange, liberating sense of power. Each awkward stumble, each hesitant step, each lingering stare became part of an unplanned adventure, a test of courage, and an unexpected journey into self-expression. By the time I reached the park, fully dressed, fully exposed, and fully anxious, I realized one undeniable truth: this experiment was no longer just about trying something new. It was about facing the world in a way I had never dared before, and discovering how terrifyingly thrilling it could be. Chaos or freedom? Maybe it's both, I whispered, gripping my purse tightly and stepping forward into the crowd, ready, or not, for what was about to unfold. The chaos didn't take long to escalate. Each step through the busy streets felt like a challenge, a gauntlet of eyes, whispers, and subtle judgments. People stared longer than seemed polite, some whispering to friends, some smiling, some smirking. My heart raced with every glance, adrenaline mixing with embarrassment and an odd, fluttering excitement. Even routine errands became a minefield. Entering a cafe, the barista's raised eyebrow was impossible to miss. Every movement I made, reaching for my wallet, adjusting the straps of my dress, tucking a strand of hair behind my ear, felt amplified. The soft chime of the door made me jump, and I realized the entire cafe was watching. "What can I get you?" the barista asked, voice tight but polite. "A latte, please," I stammered, almost dropping my purse in the process. It wasn't just strangers. Old friends and acquaintances suddenly appeared at inconvenient moments. A casual wave or passing smile became charged with tension, their eyes scanning me from head to toe. Some whispered to each other, their curiosity bordering on mockery. The world had transformed into a stage where I was the unwilling lead, and every reaction sent my mind spinning between fear and exhilaration. The park, which I had hoped would offer some relief, became another trial. Children pointed, couples stared, joggers slowed their pace to look. A gust of wind lifted my skirt slightly, and I froze, mortified, fumbling to smooth it down. My hands shook, my face burned, yet beneath it all was a strange, thrilling rush. The chaos was overwhelming, but I couldn't deny the surge of empowerment hiding beneath the embarrassment. Social interactions became lessons in survival. Conversations were tense. A compliment felt like a spotlight, a passing glance like scrutiny. Even ordering at a convenience store was a test. "That's quite a look you've got," a clerk said, smirking. "Thanks," I muttered, voice quivering. "Just trying something new." The reactions were endless, unpredictable. Some people were friendly, offering smiles and subtle nods of approval. Others were blunt, teasing, or outright mocking. Each interaction forced me to adapt, to navigate attention with poise, even when panic threatened to overwhelm. By mid-afternoon, I found a quiet corner in a cafe, heart still racing. I sipped my coffee slowly, reflecting on the day. The chaos had been exhausting, humiliating, thrilling, and strangely liberating all at once. Each step outside had tested my confidence, pushed my boundaries, and forced me to confront insecurities I hadn't realized existed. I can't believe I'm actually doing this. And surviving, I thought, a mix of awe and disbelief coursing through me. By evening, I realized that public chaos wasn't merely about exposure, it was about control. Every glance, every whisper, every judgment was a test. And each time I stood tall, adjusted my dress, smiled politely, or held eye contact, I felt a quiet victory, a growing sense of empowerment hiding beneath the chaos. The day ended with a mix of relief and exhilaration. I had faced the unpredictable, the judgmental, the curious, and the mocking, and I had survived. More than that, I had discovered a strange thrill in being fully visible, fully girly, and fully myself, even if the world around me was chaotic and relentless. After surviving the chaos of the streets, the cafe, and the park, returning home felt like stepping into a sanctuary. Alone, I could finally process the day, the stares, the whispers, the sudden rush of attention, and transform the overwhelm into curiosity and self-discovery. I stood before the full-length mirror, examining every detail of myself. The dress flowing perfectly, the way the heels lengthened my legs, the subtle shimmer of makeup highlighting my features. I twirled slowly, letting the fabric move with me, testing how it responded to each motion. My reflection was no longer just an experiment. It was a version of me I was beginning to recognize, embrace, and even enjoy. This isn't just an outfit, I whispered. It's me, or at least part of me. I began experimenting systematically. First, posture, shoulders back, chin up, spine elongated. Every movement became deliberate, graceful, intentional. Each gesture I practiced in private, the tilt of my head, the flick of my wrist, the way my hips shifted, felt more natural with repetition, more in tune with the persona I was cultivating. Next came the voice. Alone in my apartment, I spoke aloud, experimenting with pitch, tone, and cadence. I tried laughing softly, speaking confidently, whispering secrets to myself in this new melodic voice. The transformation wasn't just visual, it was auditory, physical, emotional. I could feel the confidence growing in my chest with each trial, each successful expression. I also explored interaction rituals. I practiced ordering from imaginary cafes, responding to compliments, holding polite conversation, even walking through imaginary crowds. Each rehearsal reinforced awareness, poise, and subtlety in behavior. I noticed how gestures, eye contact, and expression could communicate not only femininity but also confidence and presence. Clothing became another tool for discovery. I experimented with different skirts, blouses, and shoes, observing how each combination altered my posture, my movement, and my perception of myself. Soft fabrics, lace, flowing materials, they all elicited different feelings, from playful curiosity to delicate elegance to commanding presence. Each outfit revealed a new layer of personality I hadn't known I could inhabit. Makeup became a ritual of self-expression. I studied techniques online, experimenting with eyeshadow, eyeliner, and blush. Each application was a small revelation, highlighting contours, enhancing features, and creating an identity that felt entirely my own. By the end of each session, I would step back, observing the reflection and marveling at the transformation. The face staring back wasn't just pretty, it was powerful, expressive, and undeniably alive. Beyond the physical, I explored emotional nuances. I journaled about the day's chaos, the moments of embarrassment, the unexpected thrill of attention. I wrote about curiosity, desire, and the subtle empowerment that had begun to root itself within me. Each entry became a mirror to my mind, reflecting growth, confidence, and the deepening understanding that this journey was about more than appearances. It was about self-discovery and embracing complexity. Over time, I began testing boundaries in small, controlled ways. I walked to the corner store in full outfit, practiced confident greetings, and observed how strangers responded. The anxiety was still there, fluttering at the edges of my mind, but it had shifted from paralyzing fear to a charged energy, a thrill that propelled me forward. By the end of these sessions, a new awareness emerged. I no longer felt like someone trying on a persona, I was inhabiting it fully. Movements, gestures, posture, voice, they were integrated, natural, and expressive of a side of myself I had long ignored. The chaos of public exposure had been a challenge, but private exploration had turned it into mastery. I am ready, I whispered to my reflection. Ready to face the world, and myself, without hiding. This newfound mastery wasn't just about confidence in appearance. It was about embracing identity, curiosity, and courage. I had turned embarrassment into playfulness, fear into awareness, and attention into power. Each private session had reinforced the truth that self-expression is not only liberating but transformative. The weekend arrived, bringing with it the ultimate test. Today wasn't just a casual stroll or a quiet experiment at home. It was a full public outing, dressed completely in my girly persona. The moment I stepped outside, the world felt magnified. Every sound, every glance, every movement seemed amplified, and my heart raced as if the city itself had noticed my presence. Heels clicked sharply on the pavement, announcing my arrival, and each step was a conscious effort in balance and poise. The dress I had chosen for this occasion flowed beautifully, catching the sunlight, drawing attention with its subtle shimmer. A gentle breeze lifted the fabric slightly, and I instinctively smoothed it down, aware that even the smallest motion was being noticed. The streets became a labyrinth of eyes, whispers, and occasional smirks. At first, anxiety surged like a tidal wave, threatening to pull me under. But then, I remembered all my private practice, the way I had refined posture, gestures, expressions, even voice. With each breath, each step, I reminded myself, confidence isn't given, it's claimed. Eyes on me. I can handle this, I whispered under my breath, voice steady, even melodic. In a crowded cafe, I ordered a drink, and the barista's surprise was palpable. I smiled politely, holding eye contact, letting the gestures and expressions I had perfected radiate outward. Conversations around me hummed with curiosity, whispers punctuated by laughter, yet I remained grounded, embodying poise even amid chaos. The true challenge came at the park. Children pointed, couples glanced, and joggers slowed to stare. A gust of wind lifted my skirt, and instinctively I froze. Panic bubbled, but then I adjusted my posture, smoothed the fabric, and walked on. Each step became a deliberate act of defiance against embarrassment. The chaos no longer intimidated me, it energized me. Every glance, every whisper, every judgment became a confirmation of my courage. Then it happened, a group of familiar faces appeared unexpectedly. Old classmates, neighbors, acquaintances I hadn't seen in months. Their expressions shifted from surprise to curiosity to amusement, and I felt the familiar spike of anxiety. My instinct was to shrink, to hide, but I drew strength from weeks of private mastery and small public trials. "Wow, that's different," one of them said, eyes wide. I smiled, head held high. "It's me," I replied, confident, playful, and unapologetic. "Fully me." Their reactions were varied. Some chuckled awkwardly, some offered genuine compliments, and some simply stared, processing the unexpected. But the anxiety that had gripped me in private transformed into exhilaration. I realized then that the world doesn't control your identity, confidence does. And today, I claimed it fully. By evening, the experience had reached its peak at a social gathering. Friends, strangers, and even curious onlookers were present. I walked into the room, heels clicking, dress flowing, makeup flawless, posture confident. Heads turned, whispers fluttered, and eyes lingered, but this time, I wasn't afraid. I owned every glance, every reaction, every flicker of attention. Interactions were electrifying. Compliments came freely, and conversations flowed naturally. The nervous energy that had once consumed me became a playful, magnetic force. I laughed, gestured, moved with elegance, and felt a deep sense of empowerment building with each passing moment. Standing near the mirror in the corner, I examined my reflection. Gone was the hesitancy, the doubt, the fear. In its place was a radiant, confident presence that commanded attention without demanding it. Every gesture, every glance, every movement spoke of authenticity, courage, and self-expression fully realized. This is freedom," I whispered softly, voice steady and clear. "Chaos or not, I am visible, I am powerful, I am me." The night ended with quiet triumph. I had faced stares, whispers, and chaos, and emerged victorious. The experiment that had begun as curiosity and play had become a journey of courage, self-discovery, and empowerment. I realized that visibility, authenticity, and confidence are intertwined. Once claimed, they transform fear into exhilaration, chaos into liberation, and uncertainty into mastery. Walking home under the city lights, I felt a profound shift. The world had watched, judged, and reacted, but it no longer mattered. I had claimed my space, embraced my identity, and discovered a power within myself I hadn't known existed. This is just the beginning, I thought, heart racing with exhilaration. The beginning of truly being me. Anywhere, everywhere, and without fear.